I caught up earlier today with a cross-section of top Indian-Australian businessmen, strategic affairs experts, academics, and asked them about their expectations from Prime Minister Modi's meeting with the Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott. Here is what they had to say. We are here by the Brisbane River, and we've got with us a whole bunch of top businessmen, members of the India-Australia Business Council, also top academics who are tracking the India-Australia relationship very closely. The Prime Minister has arrived in Brisbane. What is on his agenda and what can people expect both Tony Abbott and Narendra Modi to achieve over the next 72 hours? Let me start with Jasbir Singh on the key expectations from a business perspective, because this visit is big on business and people would like to know, as someone who tries to do business here in Australia with an Indian perspective, what would you like to see emerge at the end of this meeting between Tony Abbott and the Indian Prime Minister?
I will say that this is a visit which was long due. If Indian Prime Minister is visiting after 28 years in such an important country, you can take it only one commodity, coking coal. India imports roughly 80-85% of its coking coal requirement, and coking coal is an important thing for steel. When we have lot of emphasis in presently as well as in future for infrastructure, the expansion into steel is an important parameters, and for that coking coal will be required, and India imports 85% of its coking coal requirement. And of that 85%, 90% comes from Australia. So only for one commodity, Australia is a key thing for India. And also now Australia itself has also opened its door for uranium. I will say that this relationship has to now race. This I am saying for last many days. Race means resource, agriculture, cricket and education are the four key parameters besides tourism and other things which will be the key focus areas, and these countries both in bilateral relationship has to race.
Terrorism has suddenly become an issue in Australia, with some Australian youth joining the ISIS. So far it was something that happened in India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, possibly even the United States, but didn't bother Australia because of how far away it is from the core Islamic world. Now, and I know that terrorism is one of the issues on the bilateral agenda. What can India and Australia do together on the terrorism front?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Rahul. See, in 2009, India and Australia relationship was elevated to the level of strategic partnership, and within that framework, we had cooperation in research in a whole lot of areas, starting from trade and business, and also defense and security. So within the realm of defense and security, we also have a joint mechanism in counter-terrorism. As a part of that, there is a huge scope for cooperation, and having said that, we are seeing already that Western democracy, and India is no exception, is confronted by the phenomena of terrorism we have been facing for the last 3 decades. And now there's another dimension to it, there's another incarnation of terrorism, that is homegrown terrorism, which we have been facing for the last 20-25 years. Now Australia is confronting that. Now, when Australia is confronting homegrown terrorism on its own soil, it is desperate to learn from other experiences, experiences like what India has experienced the last 20-25 years. Now, there is a huge scope in the two sides coming together, sharing the lessons. Just recently, the Center of Excellence in Policing and Security, with which I am associated, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Police Training Academy in Hyderabad to envisage and promote police-to-police cooperation. And one of the areas in which we'll be cooperating is counter-terrorism. Similarly, we are also hoping to cooperate and have an MOU with the Central Bureau of Investigation and with the National Investigation Agency.